collaborations in 1960s music seem less likely than an encounter between Frank Zappa and Simon and Garfunkel. On one side stood Zappa, the confrontational architect of jazz-inflected rock, infamous for his biting satire and relentless critique of the music industry. On the other were Paul Simon and Art Garfunkel, whose carefully crafted folk harmonies defined sincerity and introspection during the decade's most turbulent years. Stylistically, the two worlds appeared incompatible. Zappa thrived on provocation and complexity, while Simon and Garfunkel built their reputation on emotional clarity and melodic restraint. For many fans, the idea that these figures would even meet, let alone collaborate, seemed implausible. Yet admiration does not always require similarity. Despite their differences, the musicians were aware of one another's work, even if their public personas suggested little overlap. Zappa was famously selective and outspoken about the music he respected, while Simon maintained a quieter, more diplomatic presence in discussions about his peers. A partnership between them was never anticipated. Still, in the unpredictable landscape of late 1960s rock, chance often played a decisive role. In 1969, fate intervened in an unassuming setting that would lead to one of the era's strangest musical footnotes. The meeting took place at Manny's Music Store in New York City, a legendary hub for musicians passing through the city. There, Zappa and Simon were introduced, and the encounter quickly moved beyond small talk. Simon extended an invitation to dinner that evening, setting the stage for an interaction that Zappa himself later described as unusually surreal. From the moment Zappa arrived at Simon's home, the atmosphere felt unconventional even by his standards. Simon was deeply absorbed in listening to recordings by jazz guitarist Django Reinhardt, scrutinizing the sound with an intensity that caught Zappa off guard. The scene set the tone for a night that drifted further from expectation with each passing moment. Art Garfunkel joined later, and conversation turned to Simon and Garfunkel's earliest years, performing under the name Tom and Jerry, long before international fame reshaped their identities. It was during this reflection on the past that Zappa proposed an idea few would have dared to suggest. At the time, Zappa was scheduled to perform a show in Buffalo with his band. Rather than inviting Simon and Garfunkel on stage as celebrated stars, he suggested something far more mischievous. They would appear as Tom and Jerry, reviving their pre-fame material, unannounced and uncredited. The concept was deliberately low-profile, almost secretive, stripping away celebrity and nostalgia in favor of spontaneity. To Zappa's surprise, Simon and Garfunkel were immediately receptive. The plan appealed to their sense of humor and their curiosity about revisiting their earliest musical identity, free from the weight of expectation that followed them everywhere. The following night, the audience in Buffalo witnessed something no one could have predicted. Before Zappa's performance, two familiar figures took the stage under a forgotten name, performing songs that predated their rise to fame. Many in attendance were unaware of what they were seeing until after the fact, making the moment all the more surreal. The performance did not mark the beginning of an ongoing collaboration, nor did it reshape the trajectory of any of the artists involved. Instead, it remains a fleeting, almost mythic episode, one that captures the spirit of an era when rigid genre boundaries mattered less than curiosity and experimentation. In retrospect, the encounter stands as a reminder of how porous the musical world of the 1960s could be. Even artists who seemed ideologically and stylistically opposed were capable of finding common ground, if only for a single night. Zappa's audacity and Simon and Garfunkel's willingness to step outside their established image created a moment that defied logic and expectation. While history remembers each artist for vastly different reasons, this brief intersection offers a rare glimpse into a time when ego, branding, and genre briefly gave way to impulse. It was not a collaboration designed for the charts or for legacy building. Instead, it was a spontaneous act, one that continues to fascinate precisely because it should never have happened at all.